And so I think it was for us a new venture, literally going out into the desert to be able to say we can, serve this population in a city that had no connection to the brothers, to the LaSallian family previously.
That people can stop seeing themselves as a statistic. You're just one more kid from the South Side. You don't have a future. You're going to drop out of school. You're going to get pregnant. You're going to join a gang. You're going to sell drugs. You're going to be murdered. These are the statistics of the South Side, of the poorest zip code in Tucson.
The word that, it gets thrown around a lot is poor, and we challenge that. We say, our kids, there's nothing really poor about them. If anything, they might be poor in spirit, but that's all of us.
One of the challenges definitely was to convince families that this school was for them, and that they would be able to afford it. It would be, we would work with them with their financial situation to make sure that they could enroll their daughter or son at the school.
That was the hardest thing to overcome, this realization, I can dream, I can have great dreams. It's gonna take a lot of work, but I can do it.
So when we told them you're going to come to work and you're going to have to wear a tie every day, the students would look at us like, are you serious, Mr. Moreno? But then we also had a challenge. We didn't have a school. It was barely going to be built. And we were using the church classrooms to tell the families, look, here we have 3 rooms to start this school, and we need your students to come in.
And then building the school off the ground. I think the first image that comes to mind for me of San Miguel is literally an empty dirt lot.
Our diocesan center came out here, all of our staff, and we're working in the field, digging and cleaning and trying to get rid of the trash to get it ready for this beautiful new school that would be built on the property.
So there were 2 main things that I did, I think, to deliberately imbue the school with a LaSallian spirit. And one was I stole every brother that I could in the first 3 or 4 years. I think the second thing that I did was I hired a bunch of hot dogs. And that's my expression for a teacher who's just phenomenal and doesn't need any help from a principal. I knew that if we were going to be successful, people had to talk to other people and immediately say, hey, they don't have much in terms of facilities, but man, they have amazing teachers. But I think the faculty, as well as the students, they just understood that this really worked. They took great pride in it. And they just told a story to every new teacher, to every new student. And if you didn't buy into it and you didn't believe, then you kind of got an earful. So I think especially teachers mentored other teachers about saying, I know these kids aren't where they're supposed to be at, but that's why we're here, right? We're here to work with kids that need our help.
That's one of the most important things that they teach you the first week before you start school is how to shake a hand, how to answer a phone, how to do that. And they give you this sort of confidence to be somebody. And it's okay, even if you're young, you're important and you should stand, put your feet on the ground and go with it.
Well, I participated in the first graduating class, and it wasn't huge, but the energy was ecstatic. The kids were so excited, and the parents especially. These are parents who probably for the most part never went to high school. It was a thrilling moment because I realized that this was the first year of many years of graduates from this school that will make a big difference in our community.
They talked to my mom and convinced her to let me visit schools out of state and go to college in San Diego. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without them. So I really appreciate how much they saw in me and how much they really helped me to get where I am.
But at the end of the day, when we asked people, how did you find out? It was a neighbor. It was a relative. And people would say, the kid across the street, I see he's different. She's different. They dress different. They're not out at all odd hours. I can see that, they're carrying books. They're dressed well. I want my kid to be like that kid. Rare was the family that didn't plan then on the next kid was going to come to San Miguel.
So when the students came here, mostly from public school, I think they felt a little awkward, being in touch with that spirituality, but they understood it and they were able to make connections with their own culture and their own family life and their own religions.
And it wasn't until I started getting involved that I understood that LaSallian, to me, was just community. My mother had breast cancer throughout my high school career, and I think whether I liked a person or not, or whether we got along or not, there was always that, hey, we're praying for you, and like the teachers and the principals were involved, and when we had the morning prayer, they would always make it a point to let us know we're here for you.
I often say that working at San Miguel saved my vocation because I think I fell in love with De La Salle there, and somehow everything I'd ever read didn't really touch me, but when I read it and tried to pass it along to people at San Miguel, it just came to life.
Through our accreditation process, when families were asked, why do you send your students to San Miguel? And in some ways, before even saying college or, even things like, the safe environment or, community, they said, my son, my daughter's faith. That's why I sent them to San Miguel. And so I think for us and for me, I think that what the families taught us, the students taught us, the importance of faith and just how they lived that, how they entrusted us with that.
It has changed my life in the way that I've seen Christ in others, and I am now able to do what I love.
One of the stories that always sticks in my mind as a student was giving a tour, and we walked by the mural, which is just out here in our courtyard, that says "Enter to learn, leave to serve." And she talked about that being one of the first murals that was put up in the school. And then there was a pause, the student paused, and the student said, "We don't just say that here. That's something that we really believe." And it was really clear that it wasn't just part of the script.
I want to be a social worker after this, and it really showed me that I can be someone, and so I'm going to be the first to graduate from my family. So it's just great that I'm going to be the first, and I know what I'm going to do thanks to our corporate internship program.
What I've learned from the parents is that, again, they want somebody that's going to care for their child like they were my own children, They don't want us to feel sorry for their kids. If anything, hold, again, our kids accountable and then make sure that you work with them, you really get to know them.
There was sometimes the angst of what does it mean to be a Cristo Rey model school, and how does that fit, within the LaSallian charism? Over time, we came to, understand that those complemented each other. The structure, the model that the Cristo Rey, network provides, and the support, and obviously, as I often say, that the LaSallian charism is the soul of the school, and that you need both body and soul.
Well, coming to San Miguel is definitely very tough. You have a lot of classes, but I wouldn't change it for anything. The education that I have here and the people that I know, the teachers, the relationships, the college counselors, and even the custodians.
That spirit, that charism, permeates the environment and has now spread to the communities.
I've seen throughout the years a shift in the importance that our community gives to education.
That we're not just making that change in that children's life, we're changing generations.
I think the school is in good hands, and I'm confident that they will continue to grow the school. I don't know where we're going to add on buildings, but maybe in the future we can.
I wish we could have 1,000 students, served at the school. But in a more realistic way, I hope that San Miguel always keeps in mind the needs of the students, and that it evolves with those needs. That we don't, that we're always open-minded, but also open-hearted.
Oh man, I've learned a lot. I've learned that it's not a gimmick, it's not a product, it's not a system, if you will. Being a LaSallian school is a school that embraces one another. Again, in all facets. It's the embodiment of Christ when he says that he meets us where we are.
I can stop any student in the hallway and ask them what they're thankful for, and they'll talk about the love and support that they feel, and also the idea that they can achieve anything. And I know that the founders here went out of their way to instill that intentionality in culture, in formation, in academic rigor.
I'd say simply this, that you stand on the shoulders of giants. Not that the amazing faith-filled men and women were in fact giants. They're just like you, but that point, we build on the amazing efforts of other people, and we have to have faith that what we do today, others will build on later. And so everything we do matters, especially in a place like San Miguel. Stan Campbell could have said, no, I said I wasn't going to send brothers, so I'm not. And yet he was so amazingly gracious to find us a community, and I think a community that's still very vibrant there. And it's a reflection of our willingness to go to the edges, to the boundaries of our society. And I'm very grateful to those brothers who have served and who continue to serve there. And I think they are an inspiration to this new generation of LaSallians who are there, and to a new generation of brothers who are there.
Right. And you can either walk, and it's dirt, and then it turns into asphalt. And you walk on the road.
Right.
Or you can take the little bus, but you can just walk it. And there's a restroom here, and then from here you have to take it on foot. And it just goes